Jerry Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, you need to be here on time.
I'm sorry, man, I had quite
All right, I'll recall that bond forfeiture. So where are we on this? What's the announcement?
Just found a rejection of a 10 cap at this time, Your Honor.
Do you have that?
I may have
Rejection?
inadvertently
I
not.
think it was something with the prosecutor on there. I sent it to, whatever we have goes to the prosecutor.
It's somewhere.
Okay.
She just got it.
Okay.
I just didn't get it.
Okay, so let's go through. I feel like
We have received the CPS reports, Judge.
okay, so, I mean, this is obviously very old, and once it's on the trial docket, I will expect it to be ready to go. Is there anything else that anybody's waiting on?
It would be ready to go, Your Honor. I know the court always asks if there's been a change in the offer. This is a 10-year cap. I think it's the first time it's ever been this offer. If, due to the nature of the case and those records, something were to develop, I would bring it to the court's attention well in advance of the pretrial.
Okay, all right, so let me go back. It looks like there was. At one point, it
At one
was
point, Ms. Leslie had
amended.
candid, I don't really.
I'm just trying to find the, so I can go through the
The
correct.
second or third, I'm trying to get.
Right, this was Mr. Collin had it for quite a while, so if there was a previous different type of rejection here, that's.
No, I just want to go through the correct indictment. It looks like there was a motion to amend the indictment back in 2021. I'm trying to find the actual indictment that I signed, or if I did. Okay, looks like here's the order that I signed, but I don't see the one that I wrote on because it's so old. Okay. It just changed one word. It took out contact, or it added, I'm sorry, contact or penetrate. So let me go back and find then the actual. Indictment. Mr. Jenkins, in cause number 37520, you're charged with the first-degree felony offense of aggravated sexual assault of a child from December 21st of 2019. And that indictment alleges that you were previously convicted of theft, a felony, September 23rd of 1996. And what that means if you go to trial is that the minimum punishment would be 15 years in prison, up to 99 years or life. Do you understand? And that's not marked off on the plea bargain rejection, but does everyone agree that it would be a first-degree enhanced?
It is, Judge, and the offer obviously based on count one.
So the state has made an offer, if you wanted to enter a plea of guilty, to proceed on count one only, which is the aggravated sexual assault of a child, for a cap of 10 years in prison. And you have every right to reject that offer and have your case go to trial. Obviously, you're well aware how old this case is. I want to make sure if you reject this offer today that everybody understands, like I just said, it will be placed on the next available trial docket and it will be expected to be ready and go to trial on that date. And I also, unless there is some new information that comes to light very soon, I will not accept any plea agreement after today. Do you understand? Do you want to reject this plea agreement and have your case go to trial? Okay, we'll get it set on the next trial docket. If anything comes up, y'all take some time, look through all the stuff now. Don't wait till right before trial, and let me know if there's anything that changes.
Yes, sir.
And we're ready for trial.
Okay.
I don't foresee anything if we can't come to an agreement.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't know that I see this. It might be in there, but it's, you know, things weren't called things when we first got it and all that kind of stuff. So it's fine if y'all just,
I mean, in 21,
yeah,
it was done in 21, we weren't even,
right.
but it should have been involved. Okay, Let Johnny Palumbo in custody for Spinal Top. Do you want him to go ahead and talk to him right now?
Good morning, sir. Give me just a second. Are you DeMarcus Brown? And Mr. Brown, this is your initial appearance in cause number 21-37236. You're charged with a third-degree felony offense of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle from January 21st of 2021. Since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? I'm sorry. All right, so what I'm going to do is reset your case for about 30 days to give you some time to see if you can get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, just bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer and they'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts, they have different payment plans. Bring me the names of the lawyers that you've talked to when you come back so I know you're trying and we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following that court order and you would have to go back to jail. Do you understand? All right, if you'll step in front of the clerk, she'll give you a reset. David Holland. He's so old. Good morning, are you David Holland? And Mr. Holland, this is your initial appearance in cause number 21-36992. You're charged with the state jail felony offense of theft of service from October 6th of 2020. The indictment alleges a few prior offenses as well. Since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? All right, so what I'm going to do is reset your case for about 30 days to give you some time to get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me those names of who you've talked to when you come back. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following the court order and you would go back to jail. All right, if you'll step in front of the clerk, she'll give you a reset notice. Good morning, sir. Are you Mark Robbins?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Robbins, this is your initial appearance in cause number 24, DCCR 2230. You're charged with a third-degree felony offense of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle from September 22nd of 2024. Since you've made bond, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer?
No, ma'am, not yet.
All right, so what I'll do, Mr. Robbins, is reset your case about 30 days to give you some time to try to hire someone. If you get someone hired before the next court date, just bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before that next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts, they have different payment plans. Bring me the names of the lawyers that you've talked to when you come back and we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following that court order and you would go back to jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll step in front of the clerk, she'll give you your reset notice. I'm going to say that a lot of times today. Makisha Victoria. Miss Victoria, next time you come to court, do not wear sweatpants. Do you understand? All right. This is your initial appearance in cause number 24, DCCR 2331. You're charged with the third-degree felony offense of tampering or fabricating with physical evidence with intent to impair from October 14th of 2024. Since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? So what I'm going to do, Miss Victoria, is reset your case for about 30 days to give you some time to try to get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, just bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me the names of the lawyers you've talked to when you come back, and then we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following that court order, and you will go back to jail. Do you understand? All right, step in front of the clerk. She'll give you a reset notice. Naquindon Acleese. Sweatpants also? All right, that's not appropriate in court, okay? You need to wear something nicer to court. Are you Naquinda Niclease? And so you've been here before, and hold on a second. Was there, so you were coming to court and you got arrested on something else?
Yes, ma'am. I never picked up my drug test came that day.
Okay. And so you made that bond,
Yes, ma'am.
that $100,000 bond?
No, ma'am, it was
50?
50. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, so you know what the rules are. Did you go try to find a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am. I was told to get a job. I had a job and the refinery, get my background came back, so they only let me work 2 weeks and they laid me off and I had to end it to
Okay. Well, how'd you make that bond?
my mother.
Okay. And you've got the patch on right now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm gonna reset your case for 30 days. Obviously, you need to get a job, any job, so that you can try to get a lawyer, all right? You need to go ahead and talk to some lawyers also while you're in the process.
I just have to say, I have one in mind. I'm just trying to get on the drug test and everything else.
I understand. Who are you talking to?
Right?
Okay, you need to try to get him hired if you can before that next court date. Make sure you keep those patches on. I've got the last results, which is negative, which is good, but I get those results every time you turn them in. I'll also get a notification if you don't go on time and all of that. So you, all right, step in front of the clerk. It has been. Good morning. Are you Richard Robb?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robb, you have a pair of jeans that don't have a big hole in them?
I tried to find a pair this morning, Your Honor. Just not able to go like this.
Okay. Try harder next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get a lawyer hired?
Yes, ma'am.
You did? Who'd you hire?
Tom Kelly.
Is he gonna be here this morning?
No, he's not able, he told me to tell you that, because I hired him over the weekend, just to tell you that I hired him over the weekend, is what he told me to say.
Okay, well, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reset your case just 1 week. You probably won't have to come back if he sends in the paperwork that he was hired this weekend, but I am gonna have you sign a reset for next week. Make sure he knows about that, and then he should send something into the court today.
Yeah, he told me that he would.
Okay, all right, step in front of the clerk. Thank you, sir. Good morning, ma'am. You're Melissa Taylor? Yes. And Ms. Taylor, this is your initial appearance in 2 cases. Cause number 24, DCCR 2177. You're charged with assault on a peace officer from October 2nd of 2024. And then in cause number 24, DCCR 2311, you're charged with credit or debit card abuse from that same date. And since you've made bond in your cases, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer?
Not at this time.
So what I'm going to do, Ms. Taylor, is reset your case about 30 days to give you some time to see if you can get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, just bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what you need to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me the names of the lawyers that you've talked to when you come back, so I know you're trying, and then we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following that court order. Can y'all hold it down just a little? Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's okay.
You can hear it too, right? I mean, anyway, go talk to those lawyers because they bring me the names, and if you don't, because I could raise your bond and you go back to jail. If you'll step in front of the clerk, she'll give you a reset notice. Good grief. Good morning, you're Alexander Thornton. Did you get someone hired, Mr. Thornton?
I was hired because I was in the hospital for about a week and a half, and then I'm covering for another week and a half.
Okay.
I visited the 3 lawyers, and I've got somebody in mind I'm gonna hire.
Okay.
I haven't hired, to give me a little bit more time.
Sure. And it looks like you brought that. Thank you for bringing all that documentation. Who are you planning on?
Billy Moorhead.
Say it again?
Billy Moorhan out of Jasper.
Oh, Mr. Morian, okay. So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Thornton, I'll give you about 30 more days to try to get Mr. Morian hired. If you do, great, give him the reset notice that you get today. If you're unable to, and that's not gonna work out, make sure you talk to at least 3 others and bring me that information as well. All right, step in front of the clerk, she'll bring you a reset notice. Good morning, are you Kelly McBride? And Ms. McBride, this is your initial appearance. And cause number 25, DCCR 0044, you're charged with the third-degree felony offense of obstruction or retaliation from December 9th of 2024. Since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? All right, so what I'm gonna do, Ms. McBride, is reset your case about 30 days to give you some time to try to get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, just bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before that next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me the names of the lawyers you've talked to when you come back, so I know you're trying, and then we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following the court order, and you would go back to jail. Do you understand? Yes. All right, if you'll step in front of the clerk, she'll give you a reset notice. Is it, Good morning, sir. Are you Jason Jones? And Mr. Jones, did you get someone hired?
Oh, no, ma'am, I talked to, 4 lawyers.
Okay,
James Macon, he was charged with 7,500. Marcus Wilkerson,
I set an appointment to have a consultation with him.
for March 14th, that's the earliest they had.
okay.
Brittany A. Holmes, 5,200, and Lane Walker, charged 10,000.
Okay. Are you working?
No, ma'am, not at the time.
Okay. What I appreciate that you took care of what I asked you to do. I'm going to have you fill out some paperwork if you'd like this morning to see if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. And so you need to fill it out accurately and completely. Don't just leave it all blank or put zeros. You're going to swear under oath that everything contained in it is true and correct, and then I'll take a look at it. All right. If you step in front of the clerk, she'll give you that paperwork. Yes, sir. Are you Kashonda Riley? All right, leggings and tights and sweatpants, not appropriate in court, okay? Did you get someone hired, Miss Riley?
I was going to ask for, I tried to get.
Who'd you talk to?
The days, I talked to 3 actually, the one that I told you about last time. I had the money for, I think it was Megan Taylor or something like that. I had the money for the down payment, but I also don't have my job anymore, like I told you last time. I didn't want to pay if I've been looking for a new job. I didn't want to pay the down payment, then I had the money for the payments.
And so you talked to some others. Who else did you talk to?
Yes, ma'am. I talked to David. I think it was David. I left my book. I'm sorry.
Why would you leave your book? You've been here before. You know what the information is that I'm going to ask you, right? So how do I know that you really talked to anybody? Where is it?
Is it home?
How old are you? All right. Just a minute. Okay, so you don't remember the names of anybody you talked to?
I do know one of them is David.
Mhm.
His name is David.
Okay. So somebody here locally?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Riley, I'm gonna have you fill out some paperwork this morning to see if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. You need to fill it out accurately and completely. You're gonna swear under oath that it's all true and correct. And then I'll take a look at it. Step in front of the clerk, she'll give you that paperwork. Louis Rivas. Getting my first batch of 25 cases. It sounds different. Good morning, sir. Are you Louis Rivas? And Mr. Rivas, this is your initial appearance in cause number 25 DCCR 0021. You're charged with the state jail felony offense of theft of a firearm from October 18th of 2024. And since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do, Mr. Rivas, is reset your case about 30 days to give you some time to try to get someone hired. If you get someone hired before the next court date, bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer and they'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me back the names of the lawyers that you've talked to and we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following that court order and you would have to go back to jail. Do you understand? All right, step in front of the clerk. She'll give you a reset notice. James Lofton. All right, sir, did you get someone hired?
Not yet. I've been waiting to get a hold of Tom Kelly. I called their office several times and talked to Mr. Langston this morning to he didn't do business for last time.
Okay, why are you just talking to him right now?
I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Kelly. I called his office. I don't know if they called me back or not because it's from my work schedule. Like my phone don't work.
So here's the thing, Mr. Lofton, you're out on a bond for an MTRP, and I'm pretty sure I told you last time you needed to get someone hired.
Yes, ma'am. I'm calling, I'm doing my best.
Well, it doesn't sound like you are if you just, you're not sure if he called you back or if you left him, you need to call, hang on, don't talk over me. All right? You're on probation for a serious offense. The allegations are that you violated your probation. Fact that you got a bond on that is better than what some people have. You need to get a lawyer hired before the next court date. All right, if you're working, then you should be able to afford to get a lawyer. You're gonna have to take a day off. You're gonna have to do whatever it takes. This has to be a priority. If you don't have a lawyer and you don't talk to at least 3 lawyers and bring me proof of that when you come back, then your bond will be raised and you'll be back in jail next time. Do you understand? All right, step in front of the clerk.
Thank you.
Good morning, are you Brian Snipes? Did you get someone hired, Mr. Snipes? You did? Who'd you hire?
Right.
Is he gonna be here this morning?
He said, to show up and then.
You already paid him and everything?
We're working on that. He said he's going to show up and if I reschedule him.
Okay, well, it doesn't work, I mean, if you haven't, if you're going to hire him, that's one thing.
I hired him.
You've already paid him money.
I'm giving some of it now.
Okay, is he on our docket today? Right. Mm-hmm. All right, just have a seat here in the courtroom until Mr. Kimler gets here. Don't leave. If y'all will make a note to ask him about that. Would y'all send him a message and see about this case? Good morning. Are you Crystal Vogan? And Ms. Vogan, this is your initial appearance in cause number 25 DCCR 0026. You're charged with the state jail felony offense of theft of property from February 9th of 2023. And since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? Are you working?
I am, I make $14 an hour in my rank. And I also take care of my aunt, she's felon street. She was with me for a time.
Okay. Where do you work?
It's a home health agency. It's called Petition of Houston.
Okay. So what I'll do, Ms. Bogan, is I'll have you fill out some paperwork this morning to see if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. You need to fill it out accurately and completely. What you're making, what your bills are. Good grief, that's so loud. Because you're going to swear under oath that it's all true, and so then I'll take a look at it after that. If you step in front of the clerk, she'll give you that information. Yes, ma'am. I got it. That's okay, come on. So, Mr. Lloyd, you filed a petition asking for, you can just stand right there on the end, sir, you're good. Asking for a non-disclosure, and the state has filed an objection to that. And because of, it looks like what they're saying is that while you're on probation, you can't obviously ask for it, and then there's also a 5-year waiting period. And if during that 5-year waiting period, you are put on probation or convicted or anything of another offense, then you're not eligible on this one. And so it looks like you were on probation. Is the one that's attached.
The original one, Your Honor, was Exhibit 1. He completed the probation on the original charge on November 15th, 2018, which then has the 5-year waiting period started from that time. He was then placed on probation again in cause number 2034060 that started, that the probation order was signed on April 5th, 2021, which is within that 5-year time frame.
Right. All right, so that means you're not eligible, unfortunately, sir. So I'm going to deny that petition for non-disclosure. All right, yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Are we excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Would you just make a note for Kim to please do a order denying for me? All right, you tested negative, which is obviously great, but you need to do whatever it takes to make sure that patch stays on. All right, people wear them all the time without them falling off. I need them on and able to be tested each time. Okay, so I'm going to have you sign that reset for 30 days. You need to also try to get someone hired before that next court date. All right. You already have it. Okay. All right, you can go. Jerry Jenkins.
Yeah, I'm calling.
Good morning. Morning, Mr. Burbank.
I wore my Mardi Gras tie.
I like it. That's just for me? I appreciate that.
I woke up this morning and I said, what would Judge West?
What color would make her happy today?
Purple.
His bond will be forfeited for non-appearance and reset at 100,000.
He's got a GPS.
Yeah, maybe we need to see if that's still, check
Might
on
be
that
excused,
GPS.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Crenshaw, you have Justin Chapa. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing just fine. I also picked out this tie thinking of what would,
Did you?
but unlike Mr. Burbank, my client is present.
And you win. It didn't take much.
And on this one, Judge, we're still waiting on DNA. If we can come back, please, and
Let me,
standard reset.
it looks like there was an evaluation for competency. Let me go through that also while we're here.
And it came back fine.
Yeah, it did. Good morning. You are Justin Chapa, and Mr. Chapa's charged with aggravated robbery. We had a evaluation done for competency that Dr. Crepon did. I've received that report dated January 27th, 2025. The finding in that report is that Mr. Chapa is currently competent to stand trial. Is there any other evidence with regard to competency?
No, Your Honor. Not from the state, Your Honor.
Then I am going to find, based on that report, that Mr. Chapa is competent to stand trial. And so there's DNA in this case that we're waiting on.
Their testing was submitted. We don't have anything back yet, Your Honor. I'll
Okay.
need to follow up and see if it's something that's
Where it
close by,
is.
or if we need to expedite.
Okay.
Jackson Jones.
We'll do maybe like 45 days or so to give you a little extra time. If you can check on that, see where it is in the process, and then we'll see where we get at the next court date. All right, stay in touch with Mr. Crenshaw. He'll let you know when you need to be back.
Good to see you.
Thank you. You too, sir. Mr. Jeffries, you have Jerry LeBlanc. Morning. How are you?
So far, so good.
Still early.
That's right.
Morning, Mr. Smith. Morning, Mr. Smith. Good morning, sir. You're Jerry LeBlanc?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. LeBlanc has a state jail felony theft as well as a state jail felony abandoning or endangering a child. And Mr. Jeffries, what is the announcement?
Announcement is we just received media discovery last week, so I just asked for 30 days to be able to go through that topic.
Why are these so old?
Two co-defendants, those were wrapped up back in 22 and 23, but I believe he was out of state.
Oh, okay. All right, so it sounds like you've got everything at this point. Mr. LeBlanc, I'm going to reset your case one more time. This will be the last reset for an announcement. Make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Jeffries so you can meet with him, go through all the discovery that he's received, and we'll get an announcement at that next court date. That means whether or not you're going to negotiate some agreement for a plea deal or if you're going to want to go to trial. So that decision needs to be made at that next court date. So that's why you need to call, visit with Mr. Jeffries before then. Okay, you're free to go. And Mr. Jeffries, you are here on Casey Westbrook, correct, for Mr. Mitchell's sentencing?
And also have a Raquel for us.
Oh, okay, I'll get to that in just a second. Let's do Casey Westbrook. Morning, Mr. Coleman.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Casey Westbrook. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Casey Westbrook? And Ms. Westbrook, Mr. Jeffries is here on behalf of Mr. Mitchell for your sentencing. Is that okay with you? Yes. And you were previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to the state jail felony offense of abandoning or endangering a child. I've received that pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes,
It's staying as judge.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Not from the state.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney and defer all proceedings and place you on probation for 5 years. You're ordered to pay a $1,000 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, then this is an excellent opportunity because you do not have a felony conviction on your record. And at the end of the probation period, if you successfully complete it, the case will actually be dismissed. You'll never have a felony conviction on your record. The other side of that, though, is if you violate any condition of probation, you can be brought back into court, you could be found guilty of the offense and sentenced to prison for between 6 months and up to 2 years. Do you understand? Yes. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. You need to have a seat here in the courtroom. Probation will call you up to her desk when she's ready to go over your paperwork. All right, good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you. And let's see, Mr. Jeffries, Raquel Boyd. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're Raquel Boyd?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Boyd is charged with possession of a firearm by a felon. It looks like you were appointed in January, Mr. Jeffries. Do you have an announcement?
Announcements, we've requested media discovery, haven't received it as of this moment, so we'd ask for a 30-day reset just to see if we can get that squared away.
Okay. Check something real quick. Okay, yeah, this was Mr. Clint. All right, so we'll just do a normal reset. I don't know if that media had already been made available to Mr. Parker. If it had, contact him, see if he has it. If not, Mr. Nichols, and then we'll get it for you, I'm sure, before that next court date. Stay in touch with Mr. Jeffries. He'll let you know when you need to be back. If he gets that information before that next court date, you'll need to go visit with him, go over everything, and see if we can get an announcement, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're free to go.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's see, is Mr. Brian Lane here? Thank you. '24 DCCR 1944. Good morning. Morning.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. Are you Sydney Boudouin? And Ms. Boudouin is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And what is the announcement?
Judge, I'll jump in. Your Honor, Mr. Roebuck contacted me last week with a possible resolution. I need to discuss it with the complainant and see if that's doable.
Okay.
I wasn't able to do that last week.
Okay. So just a normal reset, give you time to do that and.
If that, yes, Your Honor.
Sure. All right. I'll just reset the case normal about 30 days. Ms. Boudouin, make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Roebuck. He'll let you know when you need to be back and we'll get an announcement. Okay? You're free to go. Thank you. Is Ms. Sparks here? On Clint 23 DCCR 1875. Good morning. Good morning. You're Clint Torin, and it looks like that there was a request. We were reset for some restitution, or what's the status?
I've finally been able to pay it Friday, I got the check.
You
So,
did?
Yes, ma'am. It will be refiled. If I may just hold on that dismissal until he pleads to the refile, because we've had some bumps in the road, so.
Yes. So what I'm going to do, Mr. Torin, is reset your case for 30 days, a normal reset. If everything gets taken care of down in misdemeanor court like it's supposed to before then in all likelihood, you won't have to be here for that day. But if not, you need to be here and we'll have to figure out what to do in your case down here instead. So make sure you stay in touch with Ms. Sparks so that y'all can get that taken care of as quickly as possible. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. You're free to go, sir. Thank you, Ms. Molfino. See, is okay. All right. Let's see if he'll come back. Ms. Holmes is showing up on my tablet. My tablet's feeling kind of sad this morning. Huh? Okay. Looks like maybe they're passing it around over there. How are you, Ms. Holmes?
I'm good. It's Monday.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Good morning. Are you Christian Boutte? And Mr. Boutte has two cases, both forgery of financial instrument. Ms. Holmes, what is the announcement?
Your Honor, if we could get a little more time, we've met and we've reviewed all of the media, and we discovered that we were missing some media, mainly in regards to the part where they say he's in the bank doing transactions.
Okay.
So we need to get.
It looks like she received the media online, Judge, and Karen was unaware that there was a UBS drive. I'll get that copy right away and
Okay.
give it to Ms. Holmes. We also have discussed the case several times. It's quite a bit of restitution. We do have the subrogation letter in place, so I think we should be able to make an announcement one way or the other.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll just reset your case about 30 days or so. Make sure you stay in touch with Ms. Holmes. Once she gets that additional information, y'all can go over it and we'll see if we can get an announcement at the next court date. All right. You're free to go. I feel like now when they're dressed nice, I should compliment them on being dressed nice. He's dressed very nice. I should have said something. So it's not all the negative stuff, it's positive also. Ms. Holmes, you also have a Raymond Rodriguez.
Yes. I don't know if he's the one that was PR'd out of jail. He had sepsis.
Oh,
So
that name sounded familiar. So there was a PR, I wonder if we have any information. So he was in custody. Have you heard anything about Mr. Rodriguez's medical condition?
That's right, his wife called me saying he was up.
Still in the hospital, okay. So let's do this. I'll just do about a 30-day reset. We'll see what's going on at that point. And then you might want to get the information from probation for his,
with his brothers.
Okay.
His brothers who's been in contact with me.
With
I hadn't
you.
talked to him in a couple of weeks though.
okay, so maybe get the wife's information, and that way, see if she'll keep you up to date as
Yes.
well. And that way, they'll also know when the court date is, once he gets out.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank y'all. And then Devontae Savoy, 2 cases, Ms. Holmes. Good morning, you're Devontae Savoy. And Mr. Savoy is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child and then also tampering or fabricating with physical evidence. And Ms. Holmes, what is the announcement?
So this is kind of a complicated one, Your Honor.
We've just been in discussions last week, Judge, on it. We just need, I think we may get to a resolution, but we gotta make sure, because of his age, the age of the victim, I've gotta make sure what we do is, sets him up to, I mean, he's on the line and he was certified.
Okay.
16-year-old, so we just need one more reset to make sure we're not rushing into something that will put him at disadvantage and I can talk to my victim's family.
All right, well, we're not rushing into anything because the case has been pending for a long time, so this is gonna be the last reset.
It's one of those really in that 3-year gap.
Okay,
One, you
so-
know, and with it's the lifetime registration part.
right, I understand all of that. Y'all get together, visit, figure it all out, and we need an announcement
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
next court date.
Yes.
Stay in touch with Ms. Holmes, she'll let you know when you need to be back, and you need to visit with her before that next court date so that y'all have a plan on what to do with your case, okay?
Yes.
All right, y'all are free to go, thank you. And then, did Kimber say anything about Blanco, or?
He's not answered me, Judge.
Okay, I mean, they weren't gonna really make an announcement or anything, it was just for that, so I'm just gonna, have we heard from Mr. Rennick? Good morning, are you Jaron Crane?
Yes,
And Mr. Crane is charged in 2 of his cases with aggravated robbery and the other with evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle. What is the announcement?
Well, Judge, I've been in discussion with Ms. Morfino about this case. I know there's a co-defendant involved.
Judge, the co-defendant in this case, the court will be familiar with Mr. St. Clair. Ms. Holmes has had him for multiple settings. It looks like, I got notice last week late that John West is now hired on it, so if it's like, we've taken about a big step backwards with respect to where we are with Mr. Crane. I'm not in a position, the court will understand, to make him an offer at this point. I do not think we will need a trial to resolve this case, but I need to move on Mr. St. Clair first.
Okay, do we know when Mr. St. Clair's?
He was just set, Judge, maybe a week or two
Yeah, last
ago, and
week.
I just
He was
got
on
that
the
letter, I
docket
think,
last
on Thursday, that Mr. West was now on vacation.
So let's reset Mr. Crane about 45 days and get with Mr. West. In the meantime, see if he can get up to speed pretty quickly, and then we'll see where we get on that. Mr. Crane, stay in touch with Mr. Lewis. He will let you know when you need to be back, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
see, Mr. Paget.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you Rochelle Manuel?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Manuel's charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. And what is the announcement?
Your Honor, I have a new offer on the case, a cap offer and also a time offer that's less than was originally offered. I'd like one chance for her to come in my office, and I've told her she needs to come in my office, sit down and go over the stuff with me so we can get a full understanding of what she's looking at and what her defenses may or may not be.
So, Ms. Manuel, I'm going to reset your case about 30 days. It's very important that you call and make an appointment to go visit with Mr. Parker. Don't wait till that last week before the court date, so that you can go in there and we'll get an announcement at the next court date which direction your case is going to take, okay? All right. Yes, ma'am? That's what you need to call this week, go in there, visit with him about everything, okay? All right, you're free to go. No, ma'am. Just stay in touch with Mr. Parker and your bondsman. They'll let you know when you need to be back. Jacarol Mosley, Mr. Parker.
That's a plea.
Yeah. I'll call it and talk to her. Who's the prosecutor? Good morning. Are you Jacarol Mosley? Will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Sure, Your Honor.
Ms. Mosley, in cause number 23, DCCR 2270, you're charged with the third-degree felony offense of injury to a child from September 1st of 2023. And how do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you with? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Parker? And do you fully understand them?
Yes.
And do you understand, if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney, that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal?
Yes.
And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 10-year term in prison that would be probated. You'd be on probation for 10 years. You would be ordered to pay a $1,000 fine, follow all of the rules and conditions of probation, including not having contact with Riley Bailey. Do you understand? Do you also understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1.
No objection.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Ms. Mosley is not competent? All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case so that the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. That will give me more information about you, your case, and then we'll come back later for sentencing. You need to stop and talk to probation before you leave the courtroom, and she's sitting at that desk right there.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you back at sentencing. Aaron Shetley, Mr. Parker. Good morning. Are you Aaron Shetley? And Mr. Shetley is charged with assault, family violence by impeding breath or circulation. And Mr. Parker, what is the announcement?
Your Honor, this is a case that I've hired on that we put off waiting the results of a divorce that just finished. And Ms. Malfino and I have been in discussion. I have a new offer today. I think it may resolve it. I'm not 100% sure, but if we just have one more reset, I don't need that long. And
And I have met with the complainant now in person, Judge, and we were waiting down the hall. It looks like that was a 2-week, probably contested trial. I have held off on ordering that transcript until we can see if we can resolve this matter. Just wanted to give the court a little bit of advance notice. If in fact it goes over trial docket, we might need a little extra time to get that transcript, and I'll be happy to share it with Mr. Parker.
Okay.
So what I'll do at this point is reset it for a last announcement.
That's fine.
So this will be the final announcement. Mr. Shetley, make sure you talk to Mr. Parker between now and that next court date so that you know when you come back in what direction your case is going to take, whether or not you guys have worked out some agreement or if it's going to go to trial. Okay? All right. You're free to go.
So this is a last or a final last?
No, this is the final last, final last. This is all the.
You missed my sweatsuit. She came up real quick. I mean, it was a nice.
See, I know I keep catching myself not.
It was a nice sweatsuit, and I was trying to say it. If you said it, I was gonna say it was a nice sweatsuit.
It doesn't matter how nice they are. Did you tell her?
Yeah, she said, she freaked out. I said.
Good. Mr. Smith, Mr. Pageant just sent us a message that you told him you had hired another attorney. Is that correct? No, you didn't hire what did you say?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I did talk to them.
Okay,
I was under the assumption that they was working together.
okay. Lawyers typically, I mean, you hire one or the other. So who have you hired? Who do you?
I hired Mr. Pageant.
Okay, so, but you went and saw another attorney.
Mr. Pageant introduced me to him.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm resetting it to next Monday. Mr. Pageant needs to be here. I'm going to reset your case to next week. You need to get with Mr. Pageant, Mr. Jackson, whoever, make sure that's all worked out, and somebody needs to be here with you next Monday. All right, I will see you next Monday. Make sure you go call them as soon as you leave here. Okay, other than Mr. Caden Jones? Good morning, Ms. Jones. Why weren't you here this morning?
I got off of work at 8. I called my bell's phone and she told me that it was 9 o'clock, so.
Okay, it's at 8:30, but I'll recall your bond forfeitures. And so, Ms. Jones, you were given some time before to get a lawyer hired. Did you get someone hired?
I haven't got anyone hired, but I was looking to get someone hired. I haven't been able to, actually come up with the money to go and get someone.
Did you talk to 3 lawyers like I asked you to?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I talked to James, William Wilkerson, and also Eric Franklin.
Okay, and who else?
That's it.
That's 2.
A few, James R. Macon Williams.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
William,
Wilkerson, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. And where are you working?
Waffle House.
Okay, so thank you for doing what I asked you to do. I'm gonna have you fill out some paperwork this morning to see if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. Make sure you fill it out accurately and completely. Don't leave it blank or just put zeros on everything. Put all your information on there and then I'll take a look at it in a few minutes. Step in front of the clerk, she'll give you that paperwork.